Testing, testing. All right, we're going to get started with our program. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. It's great to see all your faces this evening. My name is Gladys Neal, and welcome to the Pontiac Housing Commission Minority and Women-Owned Contractor Symposium. So we can give a little round of applause. Very important topic. I'd first like to thank each of you for taking the time out of your schedules. I know the traffic was a little hectic, but we really appreciate you all coming out this evening. Before we get started, I'd just like to quickly introduce some members of the Pontiac Housing Commission staff, the executive team. I will start with our executive director, Mr. Ahmad Taylor. Our deputy director, Ms. Yvette Transu. Our publicist, Ms. Natalie Broda. We also have our illustrious team from the office. We have Ms. Betty Settles, Christy Sayer, our HCV housing coordinator, Ms. Mary Lou Rosada. There are a couple missing, but as they come in, I'll just tell them to wave their hands. Okay, so we're gonna get started with a little bit of a quick icebreaker. I know you guys heard the elevator music playing. There is a method to the reason it was playing. So I'm gonna just, who did? Oh, can we turn it back on in a minute? Okay. There's a reason for it. So I figured a nice way to break the ice. I mean, obviously at the core of it, this is a networking event. So we'd like to give each person the opportunity. We're gonna give you about 10 seconds to just pitch what it is your services are, what your company is. That'll give you the opportunity to let someone in the room know what it is that you do. At the end of the night, if you want to walk over and introduce yourself and then exchange V cards and socials, that would be the time to do so. Okay, so we're going to start off. I don't want to call anybody, so if you just want to volunteer to start, I love that. Look at her. All right, so you get 10 seconds. Christy's watching the clock. You can go right ahead.
Harris. I'm the CEO of Swint Logistics Group. We offer full service construction. Our partial client list is Detroit Housing Commission, Ajax Paving, and Barton Mallow Holdings.
All right, thank you.
We're 100% women-owned, Detroit-based, and certified
nice.
Section 3.
Nice. All right, anybody's next?
Trisha Morgan Bay with the Care One Cleaning Service. We service cancer fighters for free. In a nutshell, that's ultimately why I started. But we do commercial and residential in the Tri-County area.
Thank you. Wow. Next.
Hello, my name is Mario Lawler. My company is CML Enterprises, LLC. We're licensed residential builders. Our biggest contract right now is the Detroit Land Bank. And we're doing a rehab and ready program right now. So when you see those rehab and ready houses, that's us putting those together.
Awesome.
My name is Kamal Cheeks. I am the associate broker for NBC Real Estate Company. We are also in Nevada and Detroit. We service all real estate needs, from property management to residential sales to commercial sales.
Awesome. Anybody else?
Good evening. Happy Thursday to everyone. Anthony Watson, Inkster Housing Commission, part of the largest landlord in the city of Inkster, the largest housing authority in Western Wayne County, and we are economic stimulators. We paid roughly $8 million in monies to vendors in the last year. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you. Anybody else?
Anybody else? You guys back here?
My name is Mike Farrell. I'm a demolition trucking contractor from Detroit. We service Detroit, Buffalo, New York, and I'm glad to have us be at your event tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. All right. I think, we got another one?
Wants to go?
Hi, my name is Keontae Manning. I'm the CEO of KM Properties. I do real estate, rehab, landscaping, and remodeling. Excuse me. And I'm from Pontiac, Michigan.
Right. Well, thank you very much for introducing yourselves. Again, as I said, this is at the core a networking event, so we really wanted to get an opportunity to see who was represented in the room. So thanks again for coming, everybody. All right, so we're going to move into our program. I'm going to start off by introducing the members of our panel this evening. We have some speakers who are here to speak on some topics that I think are important to everyone in this room. I'll start with the gentleman here to my right. This is Mr. Aaron Cooper, Executive Director of the Inkster Housing Commission. We also have Mr. Joseph Brown, owner and senior designer of Brown Design. Joe Brown. Also, we have Mr. Fadi Nasir of Nasir Companies. And last but certainly not least, we have Chanel Shelby. She is the director of the Oakland County Michigan Works Pontiac. We'd like to thank you all for coming out and participating in our program. We look forward to hearing what you all have to say. At the end of the program, there will be a question and answer portion. So if you have questions for any members of our panel, we'll give time at that time. You can stand up and ask your question, okay? All right, let's get right to it. Ms. Natalie's going to start off the slide. I am Gladys Neal, as I introduced before. I am the Senior Site Coordinator for the Pontiac Housing Commission. I have been with the Pontiac Housing Commission since October of 2019, but I've worked with them since 2016. It has been quite a learning experience, and it feels good to have people who believe in you and who push you out there so that you can do something. So that's what I'm doing. So I want to talk a little bit about what it is that I do as it relates to the procurement and bidding process for Pontiac Housing Commission and why that's so important to housing agencies and why that's important to you all as well, okay? So we're going to start out. Behind me, you'll see some slides. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Procurement is very important, especially at the properties that we have in Pontiac, and we really wanted to make an impact on those properties. It's important that when we do the procurement process, that obviously we follow the HUD guidelines. I've given everybody a green packet. Inside that packet are some very important documents that, we want to make sure that we are very much aware of, especially when it comes to Davis-Bacon and the prevailing wages. Some of those things can make or break a company when it comes to bidding on projects with housing authorities. So let's go ahead and get started. What is the procurement process? The procurement or bidding process is a very essential function of a housing authority. The government has specific guidelines in place which every housing authority must follow when accepting bids, quotes for construction projects, services, or repairs. So the process is pretty straightforward. I'm going to just go over it pretty quickly. There is a checklist inside of your packet that kind of gives you what it is between small purchases and micro purchases. I'm going to talk specifically about small purchases and micro purchases. Micro purchases are up to $2,000 and they require one quote, either written or orally. Small purchases are $2,000 to $100,000. Those are mostly where we lie. We solicit a reasonable number of quotes, either written or verbally. We have to have a minimum of 3, which are awarded to those of the best value. Cases in which it's not awarded to the lowest cost could be due to past work, duration of the project, or material availability. So basically what that means is when you submit your bid for a project, obviously it is always felt best that you go with the lowest quote. The lowest quote is not always the best value. Sometimes there's a relationship that you have with that construction worker. You know their work, their materials are available. They may be able to finish the project in a shorter amount of time. The lowest cost should be your first consideration. Next, you should always complete an independent cost estimate. That basically is to see if the price is fair. You do a price analysis. You can do so by looking at past projects. You can go online and use Google, which sometimes I do, just to check and see if it's a competitive price that you're receiving. We do that for quotes and services. We do that for landscaping. We do that for almost any project that we receive. We do our own income costs and estimate. Next is the wage rates. These are required for construction and maintenance contracts. Davis-Bacon and the importance of paying a competitive, fair hourly wage plus fringe benefits. Inside your packet, you're going to find a Davis-Bacon and Labor Standards Contractor Addendum. This is something especially that if you're in construction, you almost want to use as your Bible. It is imperative that when you are bidding on these projects that you consider what the wage and determination rates are at that time. You can get that information online. I, for one, pull that information every time we put out a contract. I make sure that the contractor is aware of what those wages and rates are. We must check them by checking the payroll reports when they turn in their invoices. So this is a very checks and balance situation. There is no way that you can get around it. If you are looking to work with a housing authority, I suggest that you make yourself very aware of what those guidelines are, okay? We can move right along. Documentation and the rationale for your award. Documentation is extremely important. Any decisions that you make when it comes to a contract, you want to make sure that you document that file, the procurement file, so that you're able to speak to the reasons why a contractor was chose. Any changes, if there are change orders or things of that nature, you want to be able to speak to that as well. So documentation is key. All right, we can move right along. Why is the procurement policy important? The procurement policy is important because you want to provide for fair and equitable treatment of all persons or any firm that's involved. You also want to ensure that the supplies and services, including construction, are procured efficiently, effectively, and at the most favorable prices available. You want to promote full and open competition in contracting. You want to assure that the procurement actions are in full compliance and applicable with federal standards, HUD regulations, and applicable state and local laws. What impact have the projects PHC has procured had on the city of Pontiac? Well, if you take a look over here, some of the impact that the procured projects have had, especially at our two developments, which are Carriage Circle and Woodland Heights. Carriage Circle is currently undergoing a $40.3 million rehabilitation project. The units are being completely rehabbed. That means that they are getting stainless steel appliances, flooring, windows. We're doing the landscaping on the outside. There is actually a lake on the outside of Carriage, so we're going to have some lake views for our residents as well. All of this and everything that's being done has been procured. So that's the importance of the procurement policy and why it's important to have these conversations. We like to give you all the opportunity to be a part of some of these projects. I mean, it would help us and benefit if the minority and women-owned contractors also get a piece and we can level the playing field. Another property of ours is Woodland Heights. I believe that some of it is being shown behind me. In 2021, we spent about $800,000 in capital fund projects, which were procured in order to just create a better environment for the residents. This is the way that Pontiac Housing Commission is pushing forward and giving back to our community, and procurement is a part of that because, again, we have to ensure that we follow these guidelines, especially with the amount of money that we're spending. Not only did we do makeup air units, we did elevator upgrades. We did upgrades to the hallways, including the flooring and the lights and the ceiling tile. We have some of the residents' apartments we are actually showing because they're so proud to let us come in and take pictures. We told them we were showing them. But that's the impact that we like to have. In addition to that, we are spending just under $500,000 this year on additional upgrades to the building, including about 20 vacant unit turns. We're continuing the floor upgrades. We're doing some upgrades to our community space, which is a space that the residents can gather and hold events, baby showers, and different things of that nature. We also have a billiards room, a workout room, a number of spaces that will also be upgraded as well. So you can kind of see some of the before and the after. And yeah, so some of this is just some of the before pictures. But you can see it's pretty extensive. I mean, there was a toilet inside of a tub. It's pretty expensive work that we do, but, you know, to see it come to fruition is, you know, it's awesome. So, yeah. So my final portion of my project is why are minority-owned business entities and women-owned business entities important? Evidence of the historical underutilization of minority and women in the construction industry, professional services, and trades is well documented. The total spend with minority and women-owned business enterprises is less than 10%. The outcome is limited business viability to business failure at the firm level. Most are not able to succeed. Second is underemployment to unemployment at the individual level. People can't hold jobs in some of these minority and women-owned fields. And increased social services costs at the city and county levels, which we all know what that means. When you don't have a job, you have to utilize the city services a lot more. It is important that these types of conversations continue in order to make the playing field as level as possible. There are opportunities for MBEs and WBEs in the city of Pontiac, Inkster, Flint, Detroit, all over. There are opportunities. We want to make sure you have the information. There's training opportunities for residents of these cities as well. Opportunities which will allow them to contribute to the development of projects in their respective communities. Programs such as Section 3. There are other training programs that are going to be talked about this evening. We want to really open up the conversation so that you all have the information and you can spread it amongst your communities. All right? Thank you very much for your time. Next, we have Mr. Aaron Cooper.
Thank you, Ms. Neal. Thank you. $40 million? Yes. Director Taylor, $40 million? We're in the wrong city, huh? I got to come to Pontiac. I see. No, but I want to first thank Director Taylor, thank Ms. Neal for allowing us to come up here to Pontiac. We're not too far, down 24, if you will. So I just want to thank you for extending the offer for us to come speak and be a part of such an important, I feel is important and relevant topic. So thank you all. Thank you. If I could, I always like to acknowledge our staff that support me. I just do the talking, they do the work. So a couple members of our executive team, if you could just stand up, please, introduce yourself. She actually is the boss. I ain't lying. He'll tell you.
Anthony Watson again, Director of Compliance and Contracting.
Encyclopedia Britannica. For y'all that know him. That's my guy. But no, thank you, y'all. So what I'll do this evening is just share a little bit about Inkster Housing and just talk a little bit about Section 3. Also have a couple trinkets and things we'll give out. Have some questions and see if some Q&A and who can answer some of the questions that we have. I just think it's some interesting facts on what I'm going to speak about that maybe we know, maybe we don't know. So who is Inkster Housing Commission? Obviously, we're a housing commission similar to Pontiac. We all have to share the same similar challenges and doing some of the similar things right now. But we were chartered roughly 1950 under the city. So we were part of the city for a number of years. Roughly around 2004 or so, we kind of broke that bond, standalone as a standalone housing commission. So we're still affiliated. A lot of times people believe we're the city. So we're mistaken, but we are our own entity. We're 100% funded through HUD. We're roughly $10 million operation. Roughly $4 million goes out to our landlords and HAP, housing assistance payments. The other roughly $6 million is more operational. So we get roughly $2 million a year in capital funds, roughly $4 million in operating. For any of y'all that have worked with housing authorities, as Ms. Neal has stated, there's a lot of requirements. Every dollar that we get is accounted for. And we have to document every dollar. So for us, for Inkster Housing right now, we have a lot of projects going on, and our Section 3 program is I like to say, startup program, right? Startup program. Although it's been around since 1968, which I'll talk about that in a second. I believe we have a good program, but it's a startup. I've been around at the Housing Authority and I use housing authority. I'm from Ohio, y'all, so forgive me. I'll put that out there, but because I know we housing commissions here. But I've been around housing authority for about 16 years. A little bit about myself. I came from Toledo, Ohio. Many different roles. Then went to Cleveland, which is technical name is Cuyahoga Metropolitan Housing Authority. We were one of the largest in the country. I was our director of asset management. The opportunity came about, and Inkster didn't know much about it. Of course, nowadays you YouTube anything, and you'll find out some information. So wasn't sure what I was going to get into by what I seen, but I felt it was an opportunity. I felt that the challenge would present an opportunity, like many of us. That's just kind of how we look at things. How I look at things, it's an opportunity. So in the year and a half that I've been at Inkster, we started up our Section 3 program. And I'll just talk a little bit about what Section 3 is for you all that may not know what that is. So what is Section 3? I'll use my terms, and then I'll tell you what the technical term is, right? So my term is Section 3 is an attempt from HUD to bridge the gap of the years of inequalities that they permitted. That's just what I'll say. If they were in the room, I would say that to them. I don't think that's a slam on them. It's just real life. There's just been a lot of opportunities and things that have been around for minority business concerns, women business concerns, disadvantaged business concerns that just weren't provided to us, if you will. And although the regulation has been around since 1968, who has heard of it, right? Really, when you look at the regulation, for us as housing commissions, everything is regulated. You have to form this, send this, sign this, report on this. I find it mighty funny that although we have to report on Section 3 as housing commissions, I don't know where it goes because I hear from them when I don't do certain things right. But when I don't reach these potential goals, if you will, and they're not hard goals, and I'll tell you a little bit about what HUD goals are, don't really hear from folks. So the reason why Section 3 is important to me, and again, I thank Ms. Gladys for letting me speak on this, is that I feel it's the opportunity that we all can utilize, myself, Mr. Taylor, all the housing commissions can utilize to really bridge that gap that has existed, right? And so how do we use the gap? So I'll read what they're technical, and now I'll be technical. I'll read their technical terms. So Section 3 is the provision of the 1968 Housing and Urban Development Act to ensure employment and other opportunities directed to low and very low income persons, particularly recipients of government assistance. So low and very low income, that's a term that we often use in housing, and it's regarding where you're at in terms of your income, right? Are you below the area median income? Roughly it's 80%. It's just, and I'm just throwing that out there, not that you have to remember that, but when we talk about low incomes, I believe it's 80% AMI. So you got low income, very low income, which tends to make up, a lot of times, our resident population. So that's the technical definition. It's race and gender neutral, meaning that it's not based on race. That's a misbelief. I hear that a lot. It's not race or gender. It's based on income. Again, it's all about the income, all right? In our plan, I'll just talk about our plan a little bit. We provide, and most housing authorities provide standard in their packages, the procurement packages that Ms. Neal talked about, preferences. So if you, I've heard we have some contractors and things here. If you come to Inkster and you want to work for Inkster, one, we're going to give you a packet. It's always a packet. It's red tape. We're going to give you a packet that you got to complete. When you bid on the job, there's preference points. So if you claim to be a Section 3 business concern, which I'll explain what that is, then you check it off. Or maybe you're a Section 3 quote-unquote worker. Okay, you'll check it off. It's going to give you those percentage points that if we're bidding a project, you may have a certain advantage, quote-unquote, because you elected this status, right? And in a nutshell, really, That's what Section 3 is. I won't go through, all our plan and all the technical terms, but I think the biggest thing that I hear when I go places is, well, first of all, is it race? Is it based on with race or gender? No, that has nothing to do with that. It's all income. And so let me tell you what a Section 3 business concern is. So let me read that here from our plan. All right. A Section 3 business concern means a business meeting at least one of the following criteria. At least 51% owned and controlled by low or very low income persons. So again, if this is something that you're interested in and you think it applies to you, it's all about the income. So what is the area median income for, Wayne or Oakland County, right? Over 75% of your labor hours performed for the business over the prior 3-month period are performed by Section 3 workers. So, okay, I'm gonna tell you what Section 3 worker is here in a second. Or is a business at least 51% owned and controlled by a current public housing resident or residents who currently live in Section 8 assisted housing. See, so again, if we know statistically that a majority of our residents will fall in that income threshold, when coming into the program, they're gonna fall in the income threshold anyway. Then again, this is HUD's way of trying to target, hey, we're giving you this money, every dollar spent, it applies to. Doesn't come $1,000, $10,000, $1 million. It's every dollar spent. So again, I look at it as HUD's way of trying to bridge these inequalities that have existed for a number of years, and it's our responsibility to carry that out. So if you are, again, a vendor that comes to Inkster Housing, you don't have to be a Section 3 business. I want to make sure everyone understands. You don't have to be, but you may get preference points. And again, if you get these preference points, what we will do is you'll go through some paperwork. And for us, what's important, I talked to Mr. Watson a lot about the plan, is that how do we ensure that someone that is working in Inkster Housing, if they didn't elect to be a Section 3 business concern and they get a job, and they're awarded a job. So if you go hire as a contractor, you trigger certain things. You triggered it. So are you just filling the paperwork out to get a job from Inkster Housing to receive this federal assistance, and then you go out and hire? So we have to monitor and watch that. Because whether it's snow, whether it's contracting with snow, lawn, renovations or whatever, a lot of times folks gonna hire, especially if they build that capacity. Because you get one job from Inkster Housing, you might get another job. You get another job, then you can go hire. That's really what it's about. Build the capacity, be able to hire and build your business and grow and be able to give back. That's really, in my mind, what it's about. So for us, monitoring not just the performance, but who's coming in, who's working, what are they doing, are we sure? Are they hiring? Are they not hiring? How do we monitor that? Do we go out and check? We'll go out and check. We'll go out and talk to you. Ms. Neal talked about certified payrolls and things like that. That's a way that we can check. So there's ways that we can check, and I say that because for me, I'm just speaking for me, that it's important because, again, this is a tool or a vehicle to level the playing field in some degree. So, we really want to make sure we're doing right by, the monies and the people that we serve. So, so for us, again, our plan is really simple. It's really simple. It's in accordance to what HUD says we have to do. But what we try to emphasize is the monitoring and the marketing. So if we're posting jobs, where are we posting at? Typically, housing authorities will post jobs on like an e-marketplace and things like that. Well, where does the small business person know to find that? So we have to go out and meet folks where they're at. Meet you where you're at. Let's go out to the community. Let's go out to the different places and advertise to where we can make sure that people understand what we're doing and they have a fair, equitable opportunity to receive the same funds that, maybe our non-traditional partners, received in the past, if you get what I'm saying. So for us, it's really important. I'm proud of our plan. And I thank Mr. Watson because he put a lot of hours into it. And again, it's a startup, so it's not perfect. But again, I really like what we do, and I'm willing to share it. We brought some copies some information about Inkster Housing we brought. If I can I just close with some of the things that we have upcoming? Sure. Okay. Couple things that we have upcoming that I'd like to just share with the audience, being that we have folks that may be interested. So for us, right now, what we're trying to do, again, is build a relationship in a wider geographical area. Inkster is only about 6 square miles. So, you know, where do we find people that's willing to come work in Inkster Housing? And so marketing and really getting out there, putting our name out there, what we're doing is important. So right now we're trying to broaden that. You know, we're reaching out. Doesn't matter if you're Michigan, Ohio, Indiana. I won't be bipartial because I'm from Ohio, but we're reaching out. We're reaching out everywhere. So we want folks, everybody here that's a vendor. We want you to provide your information to Mr. Watson so we can reach out to you. We have some vendor packets, but one thing that we're doing and trying to do better is to get out of the shell. Sometimes us as housing commissions, we can get in a little shell, focus on us, but it's a bigger world and environment. So we're trying to do better with understanding that and getting out and allowing folks to come into the Housing Commission, being more transparent and open. So this is one way where, again, I thank Ms. Neal for letting me come here so that we can get out and start to talk, you know, in different venues like here in Oakland County. So thank you again. We have, I cited earlier, we get roughly $2 million each year in capital funds. We're about a $10 million roughly operation. So for us, obviously, they give us the money. So I'm like, we got to spend it. You know, we're not going to give any money back. You get $2 million, I'm trying to spend all $2 million and some. Because, again, what are we going to do with it? It's coming from the federal government. They've underfunded us for a number of years. So give me what we need to get us to where we'd like the money that Pontiac is investing. So we're looking to spend that money. Some of the projects that we have coming up is we're looking at a significant redevelopment of our 734 units that we have right now. We're looking to do some demolition disposition. We're potentially looking to demo roughly a 24-unit building in Inkster. We also might sell it, so we might need your services. Come on. But we have a host of things on. Again, redevelopment, significant redevelopment over the next 5 years, according to our strategic plan. And this is a small number. It's much higher, but we're looking at roughly $50 million in investment in just the renovation or rehab of our buildings. That's just the renovation. That's not talking about any other projects, lawn, or what happened. This is just the renovation of all 734 units. So I'm saying that because there's a lot of work for everybody, and we want you to have it. Of course, we have to be fair in how we facilitate it. There's rules, but we want you to have it. I'll be honest, I want you to have it. So we're looking to do a lot over the next 5 years, just like Pontiac here. We're utilizing some of the tools that HUD provides, RAD and stuff like that. I won't get into all of that, but we are looking at going that direction. So there's a lot of opportunity is what I'm trying to get, a lot of opportunity in Inkster. If you're willing to come, please come. We will welcome you with open arms because there's a lot that we're trying to do for the people, of Inkster. So I had a couple stats. Can I throw out a couple stats? Can I? We have some trinkets we're gonna hand out if you can guess the answers to these, right? You can guess the answer. All right. So first one, and it's relative to what the topic is here today when we're talking about MBE, FBE, business opportunities. So I think there were some interesting and relevant stats. So what percentage of businesses in the United States are black-owned?
Less than 10%.
Ms. Neal said?
I said less than 10%.
Just overall. So here's what we do. So so Ms. Neal said a number. So hold on. So whoever's closest, if you're not right on, will get it. She said less than 10%. That's a pretty wide range. But I had to think about her answer. Okay. 82%. 82%.
I say 2%.
I have a second. We count because the biggest growing commodity in the United States right now is African American women in business. will run their own business, both in the public and private, so you gotta count both sides.
That you onto something, but I'm gonna come back to your answer. You onto something. So you said 82, 10%. No, I'm gonna 26%. 30%. I get one more, the closest, one more. 19%. Answer is, and I'm even give you where I got the stat from, so you know I ain't making it up. All right, 2.4%. According to lendingtree.com. 2.4%, although African Americans represent 12.8% of the U.S. population. So again, when I'm talking about inequality and inequity, I don't think I had to say too much more. 2.4%. So you got to trinket. Huh? No, you don't have to throw it. No, you don't have to throw it. We gonna get it to you. No, yeah, we got liability things. I don't want Mr. Taylor to be liable. You got, indemnify us. You know how that goes. All right. Okay. What is the state in the United States with the most black businesses? Georgia. Okay, Georgia. Okay, all right. Georgia. Texas. Maryland. No, Maryland.
Maryland, that's the answer.
Yeah. You did okay. Well, I got enough. I got enough. That's according to merchantmaverick.com 2022 too. Okay. Well, there you go. I wouldn't have guessed it. I would have said Georgia. So, what is the percentage of women-owned businesses in the United States? This is according to 2018. This is the most recent stat that I could find. Women businesses in the United States. What is the percentage? You say 82. 26? What'd you say? 40. You said 40? You said 37? 33. All right. Answer? 19%. Who said? Somebody said 20. No one says we gotta get it on there. Okay, we'll give it to the guests. That's all right. Now you on to something. That was according to the census, but you on to something. So, and again, I thought this was relative too. Black women entrepreneurs are the fastest growing group, accounted for at 42% growth between 2014 and 2019. I found that interesting because I'm like, wow. So there's a lot of opportunity for women of color, specifically black women here in the United States. Now, again, it's according to the stats. Some may differ because of some of the challenges that exist, and I can understand that. But I found that interesting that is the fastest group as far as growth. So I say all of that, I use some of those stats because, again, it's relative to what we're talking about here today. But there is a lot of opportunities that exist for minority contracting. Look at the numbers, how low the numbers is. So, for us, I think as housing commissions, stewards of public funds, we have an obligation to see those numbers and help those numbers grow. So I thank you all for your opportunity to just say a few words today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks again, Mr. Cooper, for your words. We really appreciate that. Thank you. We're going to move right along with our program. Mr. Joseph Brown, owner and senior designer of Brown Design Consultants.
Hello, all. Thank you, Pontiac Housing Commission, Mr. Taylor, Ms. Neal, Ms. Transu, for having me. When they spoke to me about coming and speaking at the minority and women-owned, I didn't know if it was because I looked like a woman or I know it's not going to be minority. But I think the excitement was about projects that are upcoming in Pontiac and things we've been working on for the last couple of years, and then things that we have slated to work for the next few years. So as Ms. Neal said, I am the owner and senior designer of Brown Design Consulting out of Bloomfield Hills, and I'm also the VP of development for SK Investments Group out of Southfield. And we, collectively, we've been working on some things, and behind me, we're going to show some slides. So we first started with the Pontiac Housing Commission. They came and some of the public housing, as you know, you go by public housing, it all looks the same. It's cookie cutter, whatnot. So they wanted to kind of bring up some color alterations, landscaping, and things like that to some existing homes. So what you'll see in these next couple slides are just a few of the things that we started with, where you'll see the last slide was the top corner, and then the top corner was the old and the new. So we did a set of these. I think we did 6 or 8 to slate to begin, and then obviously we wanted to work with the Housing Commission on designing these. So we're just the designers, but as it relates to women and minority-owned businesses, when it comes to like actually executing the pretty picture, we look for a contractor to do that. And obviously, that goes to what Ms. Neal and Mr. Cooper said, as far as when you're getting involved with your housing commission, there's all these, steps, rules, regulations, packets that you have to fill out to become that contractor. But surprisingly, it was difficult to find readily available contractors that would do the work. Not just say, I can do it, but then fill out all the paperwork and everything that goes along with it. And I know it's tedious, and I know it's a lot, but that's what the challenge we faced when finding people to execute to do these things. So the next slide, you'll see this, when Ms. Neal was showing previously the Woodland Heights apartments and the unit turns, these are what, so we did the design for them. So you come into a unit, and of course, prior to this, it was the carpet and the old colors and things like that. And we felt like people that are living in the Woodland Heights, Carriage Circle, something like that, going to their day-to-day jobs, like when you're kind of in a place with, let's just say boring, no inspiration, you wake up and you're not inspired, all those things. So when we were putting together these interiors, we wanted to go for something fresh and new and updated, and something that when you get out of bed in the morning, you're in the space. Like when I get out of bed in the morning, I'm like energized. I want to go do something. I want to go to work. I want to go do the next thing. So that's what we did in these next couple of slides, was just showing like different. So we did these in each of the Pontiac housing. So this does not look like the public housing that we know of, right? So public housing all has this stigma behind it. We wanted to take a fresh new look and to realize like this is a sophisticated space. You can enjoy, you can get ready, you can go to work. So we've been working with the Pontiac Housing on the design and kind of bringing up to speed public housing and taking away that face of boring and blah and whatever, and bringing in something new and fresh and exciting. So that's what these are. And even though like as a whole things are, they're smaller, it feels bigger, feels more spacious. The colors you pick and the patterns and all those things all come together to make an inspirational space. So that's that one. The next slide was just another one of, like I said before, and then adding some color, adding some life, adding some landscaping to the existing public housing. When you go by this street, it could be in Birmingham, Pontiac, Bloomfield, Auburn Hills, anywhere. You can put it anywhere, and that's where it is. And again, it just inspires people. So we can go to the next one. Again, just another example of transforming public housing into something somebody can come home and be proud of. And that's where we need contractors for that. And of course, the preference is minority and women-owned contractors to do these jobs. For instance, this, and going back to some Ms. Neal did, we're replacing all of the flooring in all of the units with an LVT, a hard surface, no more carpet, no more, dingy walls. That we're doing bright, fresh trim. We're doing new appliances, backsplash, quartz countertops, things that really make you feel good when you're there. So this is another one, but all opportunities, again, opportunities for contractors. This is a little bigger development, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these, but this is just the initial conceptual render of a project that we're doing with SK Investments Group. That's a 12 to 1,500 unit multifamily and mixed-use development right here in Pontiac, right on Crystal Lake. And it's a 5 to 7 year project, 6 phases, going from 300 homes, 200, so on and so forth through the years. And I know one of the talks we've had with SK, the ownership, has been, yes, we're going to go out to bid for bigger contracts, but we also want to include minority, women-owned businesses when they're looking for those subcontractors. They're looking for those electricians and those plumbers and infrastructure work and everything that goes along with it. This is that's a $420 million development that will be over 7 years. There's a lot of opportunity for minority-owned businesses. This slide here is, we're doing this for the Bowen Center, the elderly center right over here off of Bagley Street. The Pontiac Housing Commission, along with some private individuals, Mr. Nasser, Mr. Kozlow, we wanted to do this for the elderly center. So we are tearing that off. But again, another opportunity for minority, women-owned businesses to come in. We know the material. It's about bidding it, quoting it, things like that. There's opportunities like this all the time. And it's just, I think, partially the contractors networking like this and being out and about and getting to know, like, this is my card, and then when it comes time to it, calling that person. But then also with Pontiac Housing, if you work with them and they have your contact, when we call and say, hey, we've got a project, and they say, hey, try this contractor, it's good to have all that knowledge, or them to have your contact. So these are just some more slides. This is another slide from the bigger development. I think we can go on to the next couple. Again, that's all the development. This is one I just want to spend 2 minutes on, a couple of these. But we do a lot in the cannabis space. We design and build for the cannabis space. I know that's maybe a touchy subject for some people, or maybe kind of like we're not sure, but it's here and it's not going anywhere. And so what we've developed, or what we've thought of in these communities in which it has been legalized, we have been on the forefront of designing beautiful spaces, interior and exterior. And again, there's 20 dispensaries opening in Pontiac. Whether you have a moral issue with it or not, that's contracting and the work is there. And it's good for minority contractors, women-owned contractors, to be able to get involved with those, because they're looking for not only just a good bid, they're looking for good quality work, and they want to support the community in which they are building, because that's part of their packet to the city. Is part of their thing is, are you going to hire minority-owned businesses? Are you going to give work to our citizens? Are you going to help with parks? And all that comes into the packet when they get approved. So these are just a couple examples of some dispensaries that we're working on through the community, just to give you that as another aspect. So these are just some projects that we're working on, that we have been working on, and just kind of encouraging that there's a lot of opportunity out here. And myself, I'm always happy to, when we do a design, work with a contractor, because no business, no owner wants to go look for something. So if you as a contractor I can have your card and say, hey, we can not just do design, but here's a good contractor too, and be able to give that work to someone in the community, I'd rather do that. So I think that's my spiel, but a lot of opportunity. So just wanted to put that out there. Okay, thanks for having me.
Thanks again, Joe. Next on our program is Fadi Nasir, President and CEO of Nasir Companies.
Thank you all. Fadi Nassar.
I'm sorry.
No, I like messing with you. Director Taylor, Deputy Director Transu, Ms. Neal, thank you all for having me. It's a real honor to be here. I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of my journey and hopefully pass on some of the knowledge that I've learned along the way. I started off in the real estate business when I was 18 years old. I bought a duplex. I actually bought half the duplex because That's all FHA would approve me for. And I lost a lot of money on that deal. I bought it, I lived in it for a little bit, and then I decided that I wanted to rent it out, and I just picked the wrong tenants, and it was a really bad experience. And I told myself at the time, I am never investing in another real estate deal for as long as I live. It was a horrible experience. So that was 33 years ago. And through that time, I got back involved in real estate. And at the time, I was buying homes, I was retrofitting them, and I was flipping them because I couldn't afford to keep them and rent them. I needed the money, and I needed to regenerate. I went on then from doing that to retaining some homes. So I was kind of building as I was going, and this is after several years and after a lot of mistakes and failures. I then at one point got involved in smaller commercial real estate deals. And I only say that, and today I own a few million square feet of real estate just in the automotive and industrial space. So we build and own buildings that we lease back to automotive and defense companies. 99% of my portfolio is leased by publicly traded, multi-billion-dollar multinational companies. We also own several thousand apartment units from Detroit all the way up to Flint. And I say that not to stand up here and say, hey, I'm successful, or I say that because my entire career was built on a series of failures. And the only thing that makes me different than somebody that maybe can't say that is when I fell, I got back up. And I took those failures, okay, and I put them in these like imaginary boxes. And what I see with people, some people, is they take those failures and they put them like boxes, in boxes like I do. And you can do one of two things with those boxes. You can stack those boxes on your head and you can walk around and let those failures control who you are and define who you are. Or you can take those boxes and you can build stairs with them. And you can walk up that staircase of success. So we can all talk about all of the tools and all of the programs, and there's a lot out there. And I'm not here to talk about that. We're going to mention one thing. But there's a lot out there. But at the end of the day, the only thing that I would say to anybody that's getting in the business or that wants to expand their business is always believe in yourself and just get up and do what you know you're supposed to do. There's no magic. It's common sense. Get up and do what you know you're supposed to do. Now, with that, we, through our partners at MHT Housing, developed a training facility that we opened up in Detroit, Michigan, and it's the first one of its kind. And we have Mike that's going to talk about it here in a little bit. So what that training facility is it's basically a laboratory. We're going to show a video, and then we're going to have Mike talk about it. But I just wanted to give you guys some words of encouragement. We're working with Pontiac Housing on several opportunities. Coincidentally, my first meeting of the day was with Mr. Cooper, and I have the opportunity to see him again today. We're hopefully working on some things with Inkster Housing Commission as well, and we're doing some other things with different housing commissions throughout the state of Michigan, including Detroit, and we're breaking ground on a couple of really exciting new projects in Detroit as well. So for the young lady over here, I heard you say that you're doing business in Detroit. I'd love to speak with you. I'd love to speak with everyone. There's so much opportunity, and we want to make ourselves available to especially minority and business-owned, women-owned businesses. So with that, we'd like to play the slide, and then Mike's going to come up and say a few words. Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome to the M Training Center in Detroit, Michigan. The M Training Center will offer you a hands-on learning experience in the maintenance technician field. Our center includes a fully furnished sample apartment, including a kitchen, bathroom, and bedroom, where students will be trained by industry professionals in electrical, plumbing, HVAC, painting, appliance repair, and janitorial services. In addition to hands-on skills, we will also focus on you, the individual. We will offer access to social services, help navigate employment hurdles such as felony convictions, loss of driver's license, back child support, lack of child care, or anything else that may prevent you from being hired. There is no tuition for this program. In fact, we will be rewarding you with a completion grant for completing the program. You will get paid to learn. In addition, you will gain interview skills, a resume, maintenance technician skills, and a job. When you complete this 1-month program, you will then be placed in our maintenance internship program, where you will be assigned to work alongside a mentor at one of our many work sites. While you are in the maintenance internship program, you will earn an hourly wage and further develop your skills. Once the internship is complete, you will be awarded full-time employment with increased wages, full benefits, a retirement account, and paid time off. The M Training Center, where we prepare you for a job as a maintenance technician, but also provide you the opportunity to grow that position into a career.
I don't know about you all, but I hate watching myself on screen. So, good evening. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Mike Springs. I am the director of the M Training Center. You saw the video, which pretty much tells our story. First and foremost, I want to say we want to become a community resource for people who are unemployed or underemployed. We're open to anyone who has a willingness to learn. This is meant to be a foundational class for those with little or no experience in the maintenance industry and provide a viable career pathway. As you saw, students will take our 4-week class, learn the basics of apartment maintenance, and then during this time, we'll also start to address the employment hurdles. For instance, we started this summer. We've had a few students come through. One student in particular did not have a driver's license, and that's a requirement for our to be a maintenance technician. He had it suspended probably about 5 years ago, and he just didn't do anything about it. So we worked with him. I took him to the Secretary of State Restoration Clinic. We found out exactly what he had to do, which was essentially just pay a fine, take the driver's test, and we're actually going tomorrow to do that. And once he gets that, he will just be it just clears that hurdle that has kind of impeded him over the years. He came to the center on the bus. He goes to work on a bus. Right now, he's currently working at a bar downtown. He gets off at 1, gets home at 3, and it's just and he's not making enough to really to sustain himself. So this way he will have stable employment. He'll have a license. We've helped him navigate those hurdles. We had another person that we ran a background check. He had one open case against him. We can't necessarily hire somebody with an open case because essentially they could be picked up at any particular time, and it was a misdemeanor, but it was still an open case. So I went with him to the court. We were ready to pay the bond for that, and then found out he actually had 9 bench warrants out for him. And none of it was serious. They were traffic violations, driving with a suspended license, and then he just ignored court appearances. So we're working with him to kind of get all of these ironed out. And just once again, these are hurdles that have impeded him from really seeking seeking regular employment. He kind of bounced around to under the table job to under the table job. So now, we're taking care of those things along with providing those skills for him. So after the 4 weeks of class, they can then choose to enter our internship program. So 4 weeks of class, we teach the basics of electrical, plumbing. Just drew a blank there. drywall repair, painting, anything that a typical maintenance technician would encounter. And we're providing that baseline training. And then after the 4 weeks, they get a $500 completion grant. So it's essentially they're being paid to learn. After that, they can then choose to enter our internship program, where they'll continue their learning on the job. I found them personally. I have an educational background. I learned more in my 1 semester of student teaching than I did in 3.5 years of college. It's that on the job, that interacting with people, problem solving, and building that confidence to be able to do that. So the intention is, if they choose to go into the internship program, that it's guaranteed wage, and then they're learning on the job. From there, the pathway, that could last, everybody's different. That could last up to maybe 4 months. Once they show that they've mastered the skills, they will then be promoted to a full-time maintenance technician, which includes increased wages, full benefits, paid time off, and a retirement program. So this is legitimately a pathway to a career. Consequently, if they try the program, decide not to pursue it, then at least they've left with some skills. We're going to work with resume building. We're going to work with interview skills. And as I said, we're going to iron out some of those other difficulties that have impeded them. Ultimately, we want to teach skills, eliminate barriers, and build confidence so that people in our program know that they can accomplish anything they set their mind to. And it's that belief in self and confidence that I've seen. I've been in alternative ed for about 15 years now. And the biggest reason why students have not completed our program is fear of success and lack of self-confidence. And if we can build them up, I believe people can do anything. They just have not necessarily accepted the opportunities that have been put in front of them. And if we can put forth those opportunities, students can come in, they can be maintenance technicians, they might have a particular aptitude for electrical work. Well, we have partners in the field that are looking to hire electricians. If they like HVAC, we can steer them towards that direction. And but this just provides a viable career, and then they can grow that to however they want. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Oh, okay, go right ahead.
Mike, thank you for that. That was excellent. I forgot to mention that we're going to post on Pontiac Housing's website the link to M-Training, and anybody from Pontiac is welcome to do that, welcome to participate. If they don't have transportation, we're going to offer transportation for that first round. Do we do that regularly? We offer transportation anyway, so we'll take care of that. But I just want to mention that, so tell your friends, your family. It's going to be on Pontiac Housing's website, a link to this M-Training program, and we hope very soon to build one M-Training facility right here in the city of Pontiac.
Thanks again, Fadi Nasir. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Mike, for giving us that information on the M-Training program. Now we're going to have a little change in the agenda really quick before we bring up Michelle. We were going to bring up Councilwoman Melanie Rutherford to say a few words for us.
Oh, you can do better than that. Good evening. Good evening. This is Black Women, right? Are y'all excited? So I was taking notes really quickly. I have the pleasure and the honor of not just being on the city council in the city of Pontiac, but I'm also the vice president of the Pontiac Housing Commission. And so I work in other roles, but those roles mean most to me because it gives me an opportunity to show you how to serve well. And one of the things that we talk about being in business is the 3 things you need to do to be successful in business in Pontiac. I always give people the blueprint, is you need to know your product, and you know what we really want. What we want is good business skills. What we want is someone who can talk, who can be able to negotiate, and who understands that they have a responsibility, because there's some little black girl that's looking at you in business and they want to see that you know how to do it as well. Number 2, Get centered around successful women in your field. For example, I don't hang around anybody who don't do what I do. So not only am I on city council, I'm on the Housing Commission, but I'm also a Grammy-nominated singer and songwriter. So you never surround yourself around people who are not going to edify you and build you into the road you want to be. Number 3, you have to know how to network a room. You have to know your temperature, gauge the temperature of when you're around people, because some of us get intimidated when we see people of different nationalities or colors, and we say we're not good enough for that bid. Understand how they bid. What did they do when they bid? What are the wording that they use? What's the structure? How do they appear? Because at the end of the day, it really boils down to having the confidence in the product that you're doing, to understand the business that you're in, and most importantly, I always write, is to not get caught up in the pitfalls of the word no. We hear no all the time. No is not a death sentence. No is just a not yet or not now. So let's say you don't get a contract with the city of Pontiac on Tuesday, but you might catch me on Wednesday. I'd be like, well, you know what? You did a good presentation. You understood your product. You understood what you were doing, who you were talking to, and you understand what the tone and the texture. I go by how you make me feel about the products that you bring into the city of Pontiac. I can say that we're open to seeing minorities, especially women of color. I can say that I am a part of the forefront. And what I want to say is when you come to the city of Pontiac, understand that it's a privilege to serve here. And not only that, that you can get it done and be successful as a Black woman in construction. And to that I say, have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner and Councilwoman Melanie Rutherford. All right, last but not least, we have Ms. Chanel Shelby of Michigan Works Pontiac. Thank you.
Hello, mic check, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Director Taylor and the Pontiac Housing Commission for having me. Today, I'm just going to give a brief overview of what Michigan Works have to offer by Melanie, as well as some additional services that employers can utilize from a Michigan Works perspective. Okay. Next slide. So Michigan Works, we have 16 Michigan Works agencies in the state of Michigan. Here in Oakland County, we operate under the leadership of the Oakland County Executive Director, Dave Coulter, our Workforce Development Board, SEAC, which is our Career Education Advisory Council, as well as regional collaborations with WIN. So if you know anybody that needs to connect to AJC, or as we say in Michigan Works, they can just call 1-800-285-WORK. You see that plug? Next slide. Here in Oakland County, we have 6 amazing centers: Novi, Oak Park, Pontiac, Southfield, Troy, and Waterford. My favorite is Pontiac, okay, because I'm from Pontiac. Next slide, please. Just so you know, approximately in Oakland County, we receive $24 million annually. We are the 3rd largest Michigan Works agency in the state of Michigan. Whoop, whoop. We serve over 150 job seekers, over 3,000 businesses. During the pandemic, we served almost 750 job seekers. We did that virtually, okay? So shout out to all of the Michigan Works. Again, like I say, here in Oakland County, we have 6 American Job Centers, along with 4 additional contract service centers, which is a total of over 100 plus staff. And with our training experience, we have state and national workforce development leadership. Next slide, fast. Okay, so one of our services we offer is called the Career Assistance Program. These are services that we offer to job seekers. So in Pontiac, we have what we call a computer lab that has 70 computers where people could come in for free, right? Get access to technology. They can utilize our computers for free. They can job search. They can fax, make copies, etc. We also offer workshops, virtual and in person, at some of the centers, which consist of resume, financial fitness, interviewing. We also offer job seekers the opportunity to work one-on-one with the case manager. So if anyone wants to register for any of our workshops here in Oakland County, you can do that at oaklandcountymichiganworks.org. So I know you guys are a lot of employers, but we all know someone who may need these services, so please pass it down, as we say. Okay, next slide. We offer training opportunities. We do that through education, like similar to, what was your name, sir? I'm sorry. Mike and Mike. In his training facility, we do offer training services to individuals where they can actually apply to go through our facilities to get what we call a grant to pay for training in in-demand industry, right? The goal is for them to get employed after they complete training in an industry that's high paying, because we want to make sure they have livable, sustainable wages. And we'll get to that shortly, as well as longevity, okay? Next slide. We offer apprenticeships. How many people know what apprenticeships is? Woo! Yeah, I should have brought goodies. So we offer apprenticeships. Right now, we have over $100,000 in grant funding for apprenticeships. I'm hoping after this, I can connect with some of you guys to see if we can connect to make apprenticeships, right? So that you guys can get successful workers in your fields. So some of the apprenticeship programs that we operate right now is in IT, health service, board, child care, labor organizations, that a little bit. So we have care providers, scholarship for child care assistance. Expungement services, a lot of people don't know about that. I heard you, Mike, talking about the gentleman who had a background. We offer expungement services for free up under that American Rescue Plan funding. It's free. Do you know how much it costs to get a record expunged right now? Over $5,000. Right? So if you can apply for the Clean Slate program, you get those services for free. We have a team at our Michigan Work Center that can help you go through that process, but the first step that someone needs to do is to complete the application online. And I'm going to continue to promote the website, which is oaklandcountymichiganworks.com. But they can apply specifically for the Clean Slate program through there. They meet with our amazing attorney team. We help them get fingerprinted. We represent them during court, which is virtually right now. So it is a great opportunity. And what we found out is most people are able to either retain their employment or get better employment once their record is expunged. Next slide. We do offer veteran employment assistance. We have veteran reps inside of our office called Veteran Career Advisors, as well as representatives who can help, help individuals get access to their benefits. You may realize, some people may not know that they qualify for a GI Bill or they lost their DD-214. We have those services at our center that can help them. My slide, this is what I'm here for, business services. And I do have these pamphlets at the sign-in desk. So we have what we call a business service professional team at our Michigan Work Centers. Those individuals work directly with employers to help them obtain employees, recruit. Like say you're expanding your business and you're moving to Pontiac because that's what we want to see. We can help you look at labor market to make sure when you're moving into the city that you're paying fair wages, right? You don't want to post for a position and it's lower than your competitor. So we can help you with that labor market information. We do workforce assessment. We have training support for you, and I'm going to go more into that about the Gorham Pro Talent Fund. Have anybody heard about that? Oh, yes, Gorham Pro Talent Fund is the most amazing thing. And we also can help with candidate pre-screening. We do job fairs on site. We do job fairs virtually. So if you're hiring and you need that assistance, our BSP team can help you. Next slide. The Business Resource Network, it's called BRN. This is our new program where we have success coaches that's operated with our partner OSA, who works directly with employees, let's say at your company. You're experiencing retention issues, right? Or you have someone who needs childcare assistance or their car broke down, right? They need that transportation assistance. We have that funding that can help them. Our BRN coaches actually meets with the employees at your company during break time or a designated time that you assigned, and we work with them. They may need substance abuse assistance. Those barriers that sometimes they're uncomfortable with telling HR, right? Because they might lose their job. What do you mean you can't get to work on Tuesday? You don't have gas money. We give them a gas card. They're connected through the BRM program. This program normally will cost an employer $3,000. Right now, it's free to join because American Rescue Plan funding. You see how I got to keep promoting that plug? Because American Rescue Plan funding. It's free to join this program. So if you're interested, I do have flyers on the table for you to join our BRM program. I mean, it's such an amazing program. We've realized that it helps employees with their retention level. Next slide. Growing Pro Telefund. I think it was a couple of people who said they knew about the Growing Pro Telefund. Well, this is like, should we say the Tesla of training programs for employees? So the Growing Pro Telefund is actually a grant that we receive for employers to complete an application to get training for either new employees or to train current employees, which we call incumbent workers, so that they can retain their employment. So I'll give an example. I'm not too tech savvy when it comes to IT, but we had individuals who say they work in CAD, right? That's manufacturing. And it was CATIA 4, but then CATIA 5 come out, right? Your company need for everyone to learn the new software. You can apply for the Growing Pro Telefund to get the funding to train your whole team on the new CATIA 5 software. Does that make sense? Okay, all right. So just this past year in Oakland County, we had 165 applicants submitted, 125 awarded, 4.8 million requested, 3.4 million awarded. That is a new record. Shout out to the VSP team. We trained about 1,200 incumbent workers, so those are those individuals that are currently employed at your location. And we had an opportunity to bring 1,300 new jobs for new hires to be trained, right? So this is, like I said, the Tesla of all training opportunities for employees. And it brought 77 new apprenticeships. So that's amazing. I don't know exactly when the application period is gonna open this year, but it's gonna open hopefully soon. So again, if you're interested in applying on the business services trifold I submitted, it has the locations of all of our 6 centers. So based on where you're located, you can reach out to the nearest BSP, or you can just email me, okay? And I'll get you connected. Next slide. Again, more employee training funds. We talked about apprenticeship funds and then OJT training. Do you guys know what that is, on-the-job training? That's when we could pay 50% of the wages for an employee that you're willing to hire. So say I want to work at your company and I only have minimal construction experience, right? You want to hire me, and I go to Michigan Works, evaluate them, and I'm like, oh, okay, would you like to do an OJT for 6 weeks to bring Chanel up to par, right? So that I'll be fully successful. For those 6 weeks, Michigan Works to pay 50% of their wage. So if you're paying them 20, we're gonna pay 10 for 6 weeks. All right, next slide. And finally, what I was here to talk about is our Oakland Next program with Bart Malo. This is our 2nd year that we're working with them in the city of Pontiac, so I'm so happy. We're currently recruiting for youth between the ages of 18 to 24, excuse me, to participate in a paid internship. So it's 6 weeks, 120 hours. They're gonna get paid $15 an hour. We're gonna help cover the support services, transportation, clothing, the wages we're gonna help cover. We're just asking that they're a Pontiac resident and that they're interested in skilled trade. So if you wanna mirror that project, there's opportunities for us to talk about that. So I know there's a lot of construction companies here, so it doesn't just have to be in the field. It could be someone that you wanna work in your office. We offer those paid internships. So yeah. I know I went pretty fast, but I looked at the time. So I was like, let me speed through this. Are there any questions? I'm sorry. Nope. Okay. Really? I'm about to pass out.
Thank you, Chanel. Thank you so much. That was very informative. Thank you. We can't tell. Thank you. You did great. You did great. Okay, so we are nearing the end of our program. Before we close, we want to just have a question and answer portion where we will allow you to ask any questions that you have of anyone on the panel. Do we have anybody that has any questions at this time? Okay, we'll bring the mic over to you.
For Inkster and for Pontiac, do you guys have a supplier portal to register as a
vendor?
Yeah.
Now, I'll speak for Pontiac. And in your packet, there is a vendor package, okay? You can fill that out and send it to me electronically. I'll add you, once everything is cleared, I'll add you to our vendor list.
Okay.
That's no problem. Inkster, I'm not sure if what your process is.
Two options. One, you can go to our website, inksterhousing.org. There is a section on doing business with Inkster Housing Commission. Our vendor packet is on the website. And because you're here tonight, another trinket from Inkster Housing. We have vendor packets tonight, so we can just give you a hard copy version. You're welcome.
All right.
Yes, for those who are not aware, HUD has something known as the Section 3 Opportunity Portal. Inkster Housing allows vendors to self-certify that they are a Section 3 business concern. HUD does the same thing. So if you do a search for HUD Section 3 Opportunity Portal, you can register your business. If you believe you are a Section 3 business concern, you can register your business on HUD's website. Why does that matter? I want to ask a question. Does anyone know approximately how many public housing authorities and commissions there are in the United States? I know you know, Ms. Henderson. I'll answer. I'm going to get this trinket. Roughly 3,000. In all 50 states, Alaska, Hawaii included, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Guam. There is a link on HUD's website. If you do a search for HUD PHA, contact information, you can get contact information for every housing commission in the country. So when you are going to the Section 3 Opportunity Portal, guess what? 3,000 plus housing commissions can go to that portal when they're looking for women-owned business enterprises or minority-owned business enterprises. May give you a call, may send you an email, but they may just want to know, do you want to do business with us? So how big is your dream? I know I'm not a speaker, but how big is your dream? We're in a world now that you don't have to leave your home to make all the money you want to make and to reach out to everyone you want to contact. So when you go on the PHA contact information, they'll give you a link to an email address. All you got to do is say who you are and how do I do business with your housing commission. Most of those links are going to be someone in the executive office. So you're going to reach the top of the mountain at 3,000 housing commissions. So you can get your word out, you can get your brand out to as many places in the United States as you want. And then outside of the United States, they have this thing called social housing. In the United States, we call it public housing. Outside of the United States, it's social housing. So there is literally opportunities. There are opportunities all over the world for your individual businesses to make a mark on people. We're in the people business. I mentioned about Inkster Housing. We're an economic stimulator. Everybody here who works, they take that money that they earn and they pay for something somewhere which helps a local economy. But the first economy I want help is mine. Because some of that money I get, I'm going to save to build up for other opportunities that may come down the road. So for vendors who want to do business with housing commissions, you get a good rep at one housing commission, guess what? Director Taylor can tell Director Cooper, hey, have you ever considered Company X for this service? And next thing you know, you don't even know that the word of mouth is being spread about your individual companies because of the quality of the work performed locally. So consider how many economies you can stimulate. Just food for thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Really quick, before we continue, I have to recognize the City of Pontiac Mayor, Mr. Tim Grimel. He just walked in. You want to say something? She has the mic there for you.
Thanks, Natalie. I'm sorry to come by so late. I had a long day, but I wanted to make sure to come by. And first and foremost, thank you, Ahmad, for your amazing leadership. You and the Pontiac Housing Commission have always been about inclusivity, and that's really what tonight's all about. It's about making sure that we collectively are harnessing the amazing talent within our community and making sure that as Pontiac succeeds, as Pontiac grows its economy, that rising economic tide lifts all boats and that we truly have shared prosperity in our community. So I want to thank you. I want to thank the Pontiac Housing Commission Board and everybody at the Pontiac Housing Commission, including and especially you, Yvette, for just your amazing, amazing leadership and for everything you do. And I want to thank all of you who are participating today in the audience for coming out and being a part of this, because this is really what Pontiac is all about. It's about bringing all hands on deck, making sure we're all working together to make sure that all of us do better, because we all do better when we all do better. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have any more questions? Go ahead.
Questions for Mike. So, Mike, how do you guys determine the direction that you teach those guys those skills? Because there's such broad range, because it's such different fields.
We start at the baseline. So, thank you. As it is now, it's an introductory course. So we're assuming somebody's coming in with little to no skills. One person that we had roll through didn't know the difference between a flathead and a Phillips screwdriver. So we're going at it from that perspective. I've got a guy coming through right now who is pretty good with his hands. He's done a lot that we've done. So our trainer is he's creating more advanced tasks for him to do. So. And like I said, it's partly, building that foundation, and not only, a lot of people know how to do things, but they don't know how to do things the right way or the safe way. So there's a definite focus on safety, and it's individualized. So we kind of have a general idea where we want to go with this, but for each person, it could be a little different. And we want to maintain that. Our class sizes at most are going to be at 8 people, and I might even limit that because we don't want to lose that individuality. When you grow too fast, then people feel like they're slipping through the cracks, and that's not what we want to do. We want to, take each person as they are, build them, grow them, build their confidence, and fully prepare them for that next level.
Thank you. Okay, so if we have no more questions just before we close, I'm sorry, Christy, go ahead.
I just want to feed off a little bit on what Gladys said earlier about the bid process. You may look at our bid packet and go, oh my gosh, I can't, figure out how to do this, but she can vouch for it. We've had times where we've had one turned in, only one. So even though you're a small business, you've got a good chance of winning a bid with with Pontiac Housing Commission or other commissions. So it's really worth the effort. And maybe the first time will be kind of rough, but when you do a few of them, you'll get used to it. And if you ask, if you don't get the bid, what can I do to improve my packet? It'll help you with the next one. So I want to encourage you to, even though it may seem like a lot of work, the government, it likes paperwork, as we know here in this room, but it's really worth the effort. And I'd like to see small businesses do more of that. So
Thanks, Christy. So really quick, again, as I was saying earlier, this is at the heart of it, a networking event. I want to recognize real quickly Mr. Antoine Otterell. He's our controller with Pontiac Housing Commission. He snuck in, so I wanted to recognize him real quick. And then two people who were not here when we were doing our elevator pitch, we want to give them an opportunity to just tell their 10-second pitch. Miss Deanna Henderson, right up. I'm putting you on front. She's going to bring the mic over to you. You get 10 seconds just to tell a bit about yourself and your business. And then Raquel Harris in the back, you're next.
You did put me on the spot,
I
Gladys.
know. Love you.
All right, I apologize for being late. My name is Deanna Henderson. How you doing? I have been in public housing a little bit over 26 years now. In 2008, I had the opportunity to start my own consulting company, and this was on the heels of seeing a young lady by the name of Dee Dee Strum come into the offices one day, and she came in with this nice mink coat on, and she came in and trained all of us, and I sat back and I said, I want to be Dee Dee Strum. So here we are in 2022. I have been in the business a little bit over, it was 2008, a little bit over 12 years now, doing really well, really good, and I'm very blessed. Yes, Anthony, there are over 3,500 housing authorities in the United States, and I have had the opportunity to do a lot of work outside of Michigan, in New York, in Miami, in Florida, in New Jersey, a lot of other type places. I am originally from Detroit. Gladys worked with me when I worked at the Detroit Housing Commission, and currently I live in Chicago, so I don't think I qualify for any of my works, projects, and opportunities. However, I may move back to Detroit, Michigan. So what I do, the name of my company is called Hummingbird Management and Compliance Group, LLC. And what we do is all matters related to the compliance. So when a person is putting in an application, when a person is recertifying each year, they have to be in compliance with local, state, and government guidelines. So my company is responsible for helping housing authorities, property management companies, owners, make sure that they're in compliance with those programs. And that's it in a nutshell. Yes. Yes and no. Yes and no. I do have a mink coat, though. Thank you.
Thanks, Deanna.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry. I'm Gladys's best friend, Raquel. You can call me Rocky. I actually have about 20 years in social work, working with families. So a lot of the programs that you all were talking about, definitely want to be in touch with you about Michigan Works, because as far as being a social worker, I'm also a media personality, and I work with a lot of minority businesses, people in the community. I'm a connector, pretty much. Any resource that can help others, I am someone who can find that resource and connect others who need to be connected to themselves. So I can definitely leave my contact information with us. Gigi, I was not expecting to speak. Okay. But again, I'm glad she invited me, and I'm glad to see minorities working together. And I look forward to the program, the M Building. Is that in Detroit? I wanted to ask. Okay, so I definitely want to be in touch with you all, because I know a lot of youth, a lot of people who could benefit from those opportunities. And of course, with me being in social work, of course, there's always someone who needs housing and those type of opportunities. So I look forward to connecting with you all once we finish. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I have a podcast as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So we're going to get ready to close. Before we do, I want to call up Miss Yvette Transu, our Deputy Director, to give us a little bit of information on our upcoming training program.
Good evening again, everyone. I probably probably don't need this mic because I do have a big mouth. But I just want to, first of all, thank you all for coming out to our event. We really appreciate your being here. We could not do this without you all. If you take away nothing from this symposium, we want you to focus on the fact that we are big on building relationships, we are big on building connections, and we are big on building partnerships. As a result of partnerships that we built, one of the partnerships that we formed over 10 years ago was with O'Brien Construction. Not sure if many of you know about O'Brien Construction, but they have over 60 years of experience as one of the top-ranked construction companies in Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, and Indiana. Through this partnership, we will be able to offer training opportunities for those of you who are in this room or know someone who does not have a lot of experience with governmental bidding, with this particular process. We want you to walk away knowing that the Pontiac Housing Commission helped you learn how to do this thing, not just for us, but for other communities and for other opportunities as well. We want you to be sure, if you have not signed in, we want you to be sure to leave your contact information so that we can get in touch with you once this program is up and running. And again, O'Brien is one of the main ones who knows how to do it, so they would be the best to teach you how to do it. So we're going to provide that opportunity for you because that's just what the Pontiac Housing Commission does. I would be remiss if I did not take a moment before I take my seat, if I did not take a moment to thank Gladys Neal and Natalie Broda for putting this program together. They only asked for a little bit of help from me, so yay, but they did a wonderful job. And I just want to say thank you to you, Gladys, and thank you to you, Natalie, and again, thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Ms. Transu. Thanks so much, and thank you, Natalie. We worked this out, we did. Thank you. So in closing, I'm going to call up our executive director, Mr. Ahmad Taylor, to give some closing remarks. Once he's finished, you don't have to leave. Feel free to network around. But thank you so much for coming out.
Again, thank you all for showing. I want to, again, thank Gladys and the whole team for a well-put-on event. Give them another round of applause. I definitely want to thank Mr. Cooper, the executive director of Inkster, his staff as well. I want to thank Mr. Nassar. I want to thank Mr. Brown for speaking. Also, Ms. Shelby. Also, thank you all for attending. So I hope you got a lot from each testimony. Some people had some great testimonies today. And one of the things I challenged my team is to ask them, how serious are you about changing the dynamics of our city? We'll let Ms. Transu stop her. As I was saying. So I challenged my team to ask one question: how serious are you about changing the dynamic of people's lives, your community you're in? The response, they say, of course we're serious about it. So, but now I say, well, I'm gonna have to challenge that. I'm definitely gonna challenge that because our city amongst Inksters is faced with so many challenges and they need the best. Our cities need the best, because we've been going for so long, if you will. So, we're not asking for your B game, your C game. And I ask my friends and investors to come, network, get to know these individuals because they have capital, they have projects that they need your assistance on, and they need your A game. But in Pontiac directly, we're here, and we're trying to reshape our community. We're going to ask for your A game, and we're going to politely excuse your C game. Because we earn the right to ask for the best. We're not, and in terms of social equity, we want our minority contractors to be part of that change. That way your handprint is on that change, and you're willing to give your best if it matches. It's a win-win, So we want that. We want you to have access. We talk about Pontiac housing. Why can't minority contractors be the the big general contractors. Now, we wanted a minority contractor to have the $40 million big lead on that. And we're hoping we can get into that direction where we get into that realm, not in year 5, year 10. We're hoping to see that in a few years. So we challenging the construction community, minority women-owned, bring your A game. We have access to funding opportunities and projects that we want to give you guys. But one of the main things that some of these contractors are reluctant and they don't think they could bid on the contract. So I challenge most of you guys to, like I tell my staff, let's go to the highest peak, jump, build an airplane on the way down. Have that much confidence. There's no way we're going to crash, right? So with that being said, I think everything's been said today. There's opportunity for everyone. Please reach out. Don't just walk out the door. Make sure you reach out to these individuals, find out what they got going on, lend the ear, get your interpersonal skills together, and ask, hey, how can I help you? I hear you doing this. How can I be of assistance? I mean, that's what this forum is for. We're not here to, I didn't pick this out just to come here and look good. We want to see the change. I mean, I'm saying this in front of our mayor because, he took the challenge and we're all taking the challenge with him to change our community. Pontiac, it will not be the same, hopefully in the next 5 years. Yeah. So with that being said, I want to say good night to all you guys, and we're all in this fight together. With that, and thank you for the team. Thank you all, and challenge us. Don't hold us accountable. Like you guys said, there was going to be opportunity after this, so hold us accountable for that. With that being said, good night. Hope you all drive home safe.
We have some charcuterie.